Namaste and welcome to Tradition Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit, and thank you so very much for joining me for our Friday Puja and Satsang. This is part 63 of our series on the 64 Yoginis. We've made it almost through the whole 64. And so tonight will be a Puja and a Satsang to Surya Putri, Yogini. Again, welcome and namaste. I'd like to start out with a couple of announcements. So, this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. will be the next installment of our series. I believe this will be part 56 for Kali for Everyone. This will be a puja and a satsang centered around devotion to the Kali yantra. And then next Friday, 7 p.m., will be the next will be our monthly yoga nidra practice, and we have an important Hindu holiday coming up, Guru Purnima, where we honor our teachers both within and without, and our meditation will be based on our teachers. And again, our teachers, not just our outside teachers, our external teachers, but those within ourselves as well. For anyone who happens to be tuning in right now, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. So Surya Putri Yogini, who we have pictured on our altar tonight. Oh, and I think you just saw a tail move past. That's Jinx the Sadhana cat, who's joining us right now. Surya Putri Yogini, to begin with, is a phrase combining Sanskrit and Hindi-derived words. Surya, meaning the sun, Putri, meaning daughter or daughter of, and Yogini, a female practitioner of yoga, or a divine or semi-divine female figure with spiritual power. Put that together, it roughly means daughter of the sun, who is a yogini, or the sun's daughter, the yogini. This could refer to a person's name, title of a book, story, or artwork, or, as we're going to be focusing on tonight, a term used in a spiritual or mythological context, that is, as one of the 64 yoginis. So Surya Putri, daughter of the sun, is one of the 4 yoginis enshrined on the Chandi Mandap, the central pillared pavilion at the heart of the Chausati, that is the 64 Yogini temple in Hirapur, outside of the city of Bhubaneswar in the Indian state of Orissa. She is positioned along with the goddesses or yoginis Ajita, Vayuvina, and Sarvamangala. And we've talked about Ajita and Sarvamangala already. Vayuvina will be the final of the 64 yoginis. As we can see in our temple image, she is a 4-armed figure standing in what is called the Vibhanga dance pose. This is a pose from traditional Indian dance where we can see 2 curves in the body. You can't see this very well on the photograph that I have, so I'm going to pull out this divination card and her picture. She is shown standing upon a galloping horse. She wears a karita or crown of various other ornaments, and one of her left arms holds a bow, while the right hand draws an arrow from its quiver. So we can see the quiver here and one arm that's drawing an arrow, and there's the bow in one of her left hands. Her solar-linked name fits the temple's broader design. The shrine itself has a platform in the front of it, a large raised platform, and I'll show you a photo of that. So this is right in front of the main door, the main entrance to the temple. And this is called the Surya Pitta, or sun platform. And this is where visitors traditionally worship Surya, the god of the sun. So really solar symbolism runs all through this site. And I'm going to be talking a lot about that this evening. Here's a traditional Nepali mask of Lord Surya, the Lord of the Sun, and really the head of the other astrological devas. So just to add a bit of context about the temple itself, it's a small, circular, roofless, 9th century shrine. It was built by the Bauma dynasty queen Hira Devi. It's considered to be one of the earliest of the 64 Yogini temples in India, and certainly the best preserved. Of the 64 original Yogini statues inside, 63 of them survive. They're carved from a dark stone called chlorite, and they're depicted standing upon their animal vehicles. So this is a shot that I've shown you before of the interior of this circular temple. And there's the central stone pavilion, which includes the image of Surya Putri Yogini. And then just to show the entire temple with the Chandra Mandap, the central structure, here in the center, and then this round gallery. And you'll notice that this photograph is taken from a raised structure. This was photographed by somebody who was standing on the Surya Pitta, on this raised platform in front of the temple. So I wanted to go through those images again because that's going to be part of our visualization meditation this evening as well. So this would be a good time to break down some of the elements of her symbolism, starting with the horse that she is standing upon. The horse is also the vehicle of Surya, the god of the sun, and he is always depicted riding horses across the sky, rather similar to the Greek god Apollo. Solar rays themselves are traditionally imagined as horses in motion. So Surya Putri, standing on a galloping horse, directly inherits her father's iconography. It symbolizes strength, swiftness, and the ability to transcend earthly limitations, echoing the sun's own ceaseless movement through the heavens. The bow and arrow, which she holds, these represent her capacity to focus and direct divine power toward overcoming obstacles and manifesting intentions, while the arrow, being drawn from the quiver, signifies readiness to embrace new challenges and harness the sun's transformative energy, essentially light as a directed, piercing force, not just illumination, but active power aimed at a target. And really, the bow and arrow are also symbols of meditational focus, focusing upon one single thing, tuning out all of the distractions. And then all of this symbolism also seems to reflect the idea of the sun being the source of all of Earth's energy. The Devanga pose and her crown, this graceful two-curved stance and crown, mark her as celestial nobility, signaling her connection to celestial realms and divine majestic presence rather than a fierce or wrathful deity. And then A bigger picture in terms of the temple, her placement really matters as much as her form. The fact that she is in this central structure in the Yogini temple. So she is in the axis around which the wheel containing the other yoginis, you can imagine it turning. So she is one of 4 yoginis in the Chandi Mandap, a small central shrine at the heart of the circular temple. And each of the 4 images, last 4 images of the Divine Mother, 61 through 64, are paired with a Bhairava, a fierce form of Shiva. This pairing therefore symbolizes that Shiva and the Yogini as Shakti consciousness and energy balance. So the balance between male and female, dynamic and receptive. And her solar name isn't just incidental. The temple faces east toward the rising sun. And just outside, again, sits this platform, the Surya Pitta, a platform for sun worship. So Surya Putri anchors that solar axis right at the sanctum's core. So altogether, she's less a gentle sun goddess figure and more of a warrior huntress, channeling solar force, vitality, speed, and directed power, poised at mid-motion rather than static. Now, there's another goddess that is known as the daughter of the sun, and that is the goddess Yami. And Yami is the sister and consort of Lord Yama, the upholder of Dharma, and also the Lord of Death. And I think it's significant that in tonight's satsang we make a comparison of both of these daughters of the sun. So starting with Surya Putri, she's a medieval tantric Shakti, dating back to about the 9th century of the Common Era. She's one of the 64 tantric goddesses known as the Yoginis, 64 aspects of the divine Shakti. She's named as the daughter of Surya and found in the Hirapur Yogini temple, 4-armed, warrior-like figure with a bow and arrow, standing on a galloping horse, symbolizing directed power, speed, solar vitality, an active martial force, granting strength and spiritual protection. Her main role or function for tantric practitioners is within the overall temple ritual, bound up with the other 64 yoginis, 64 forms of Kali or Durga. In contrast, if we look at Yami, also known as Yamuna, she can be traced back to Vedic mythology, specifically the Rig Veda, 1500 BCE and onwards. Cosmic mortal twin, later a river goddess. So she was the twin sister of Lord Yama, and Yama and Yami were the first humans on Earth. Literal daughter of Surya and Sanya, the goddess of the stars. Yami is very often depicted black in complexion, standing on her mount, which in some traditions is a tortoise, others is a buffalo. Sometimes she's holding a water pot, or in this image, where we see Yama and Yami, or Yama and Chamunda together, she's holding a trident and a kapala, a skull cup. Her twin brother, Yama, is holding a mace or a club for smashing ignorance, and a coil of rope for binding ignorance as well. So there's a very closer Kali connection to Yami. There's a story where she finds her brother Yama, the first man, dead, and mourns for him. And the gods bring about the turning of the wheel of the year, the turning of the seasons, so that she can perceive time, and that helps her to overcome her grief. And while she's mourning her brother, her tears form the holy river Yamuna. So in some ways, they seem like different goddesses. They are both given the title of daughter of the sun. But I wonder myself if Surya Putri isn't a combination of both of those forms. Because when we look at this statue, this carving at Hirapur, of course, the hands have been broken away, so it's kind of hard to tell what she was holding. But we see there's an area behind her and above with another arm. And I think it's quite possible that she's holding that trident or that club, which might associate her with Lord Yama, possibly her twin brother. So I don't think we can completely rule out that those are completely separate goddesses. It could be, too, that Surya Putri is personifying the Shakti of Lord Surya, the feminine energy connected with the sun. So interesting overlaps, possibly a connection. So it would be interesting, too, to discuss the ritual sequence, the darshan path that a worshiper would take when they visit the Chausati Yogini temple. And I've done this myself. So devotees would begin at the Surya Pita, at that platform outside the temple. They would come in and they would walk the circuit of the temple, seeing the 60 yoginis that are set in the outer circular wall moving clockwise. And then after completing the circuit, the devotee moves to the center, the bindu of the circle, called the Chandi Mandap, which functions as an inner sanctum. And so the final ritual observance may take place there, or what happened for myself when I visited that temple, the priest then did a puja for me at the image of the goddess Mahamaya, who many think may be the central deity of the temple. But still, Surya Putri is one of only 4 yoginis placed there at the innermost sacred point, alongside again Ajita, who and Sarvamangala, that's the missing image that we talked about last month. So worship of her comes at the climax of the ritual movement, not along the general path. So she's part of the final, most intimate stage of darshan, the experience of the divine in this act of worship. Each yogini in the Chandi Mandap is paired with a Bhairava, a wrathful form of Shiva, and the yogini and Shakti. So approaching Surya Putri also means approaching her paired masculine principle, reinforcing the union of opposites, a theme central in tantric practice. In a broader context, daily rituals of the temple include the worship of the 5 elements of nature: earth, water, fire, sky, or air, and ether. As a solar-linked figure standing for directed energy, Surya Putri's presence reinforces the fire/light element within that fivefold worship, those five elements, which also represent five aspects of our being. Of course, just outside the temple again, to the east, sits the Surya Pitta, that platform, historically used by tantric devotees for sun worship. So devotees may pay their respects to Surya the sun directly before entering the temple, and there encountering his daughter again, or his Shakti inside. And of course, the sun has a strong association with our consciousness, literally bringing things to light, bringing us from darkness and uncertainty and ignorance into light and wisdom. Rituals in this temple are documented as having continued for roughly 500 years before the Yogini cult declined, and this coincided with the Mughal invasions beginning in the late 1200s. And the temple remains an active functioning shrine today, with priests still performing pujas. So it's not purely an archaeological site, it's a living place of worship, and it's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's important to remember that there's no independent textual liturgy or hymn addressed to Surya Putra, the way there is for other female Hindu deities. The Yogini cult was esoteric, secretive, largely transmitted to limited initiates, leaving little or no textual traces. What we know of her worship is reconstructed mostly from her placement, her iconography, the symbolism we do see in her image, and the general tantric framework of Yogini veneration, rather than from any surviving dedicated scripture. So, that being said, there's no known mantra, ancient or modern, for Surya Putri. So, the mantra we're going to be using this evening is going to be a variation of Lord Surya, her father's mantra. So, the mantra we're going to be using for our puja and for our fire offerings is Om Hraum Hrim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. So I have this written down in the description for tonight's practice. Om Hraum Hrim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Hraum Hrim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. And then we're also going to use a variation of Surya's Gayatri mantra, a feminized form of it for her invocation. And I'll be chanting that at the start of our puja, and I'll also offer a translation of that. So, Jai Ma Surya Putri. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Namaha. So I invite you to find a comfortable seated position where you can look upon your screen and our altar with a relaxed gaze. And let's begin by breathing deeply, taking some time for grounding, for centering, and preparing for tonight's working. breathing away the cares and the concerns of the day. Breathing away those things that may distract us from honoring that divine presence within ourselves. I think it's significant that we're honoring Surya Putri so close to the summer solstice, really the bright time of the year. And so as you breathe, I invite you to focus on your heart center and imagine the light of the sun illuminating that divine presence within yourself, increasing your awareness of that power that is always with you, teaching you, guiding you, healing you, and more importantly, illuminating your path, the journey of finding ways of helping others. And I invite you to think of some part of your life that is ready for healing or transformation or resolution. Especially if there's something in your life where you need some illumination. You need that flash or flashes of insight to help you decide what the next step should be, what direction you need to take. And you could certainly make that same intention for somebody close to you as well. And I invite you to bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And let's begin our practice by chanting Om Surya Putri Namaha. To Surya Putri, we give reverence. To Surya Putri, we bow. So a deep inhale for Om. Deep inhale for Surya Putri. Surya Putri. A deep inhale for Namaha. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Namaha. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gitopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Seshivanam Shatobhijam Prasnavananam Dayat Sava Vignopasantaye Jaganesha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guru Ve Namah. Jai Guru. Om Trayambakam Yajamae Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Orvarkameva bandhanan machur mukshiyam amrita. Om Namah Shivaya. Devi prapanote hare prasida. Prasida matara jagata kilasya. Prasida Vishvesvara pe Vishvam. Tvameshwara Devi Chachara Charasya. Jema Devi. Om Surya Putraye Vidmaye Mahateja Svinye Dimahi Tano Surya Putri Prachodayat. Jema Surya Putri. Om. We meditate on the daughter of the sun, on the greatly radiant one. May that Surya Putri illuminate and inspire us. Jema. 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 So I invite you, as I give our puja offerings, to join me as you feel comfortable in chanting our mantra, Om Ram Rim Raum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Ram Rim Raum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Ram Rim Ram 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 Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Kapuragoram Karunavataram Samsara Saram Ujigendra Haram Sada Santam Vidayara Vinde Vivam Bivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvameshwara Devi Chachara Charasya. Om Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha. Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha. Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha. So let's continue with the mantra. Om Ram Reem Ram Sa Surya Putri Namaha. 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 Om Hraum Hrim Hraum 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 Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Breathe deeply, focusing upon the flame. And feel those things that no longer work in your life being offered as an offering of transformation. Give those things that you're ready to let go of to the fire. And let those transformed energies return to you in the form of heat and in the form of illuminating light. Light shedding illumination upon your path, revealing directions to travel or knowledge that you need or ideas or new attitudes. Om Ram Rim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Ram Rim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Ram Rim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Jai Ma Surya Putri. Jai Ma Surya Putri Yogini. Namaha. So I invite you to sit comfortably. Let your spine be tall but not rigid. Gently close your eyes or soften your gaze, focusing upon our fire and the image of Surya Putri. And let's begin with 3 slow breaths. A deep inhale, a full exhale. A second deep inhale, and a full releasing exhale. And a third deep breath. And a release. Then let your breath find its own natural rhythm. And feel the weight of your body upon the ground or the floor beneath you. And bring your mind to the temple at Hirapur. small, circular, open to the sky. No roof between you and the heavens. And try to imagine that same openness above the crown of your own head right now. Nothing blocking your connection to light. And then in your mind's eye, imagine yourself walking the circular path devotees take, seeing the dark stone images of the Yoginis, 60 forms of divine feminine power surrounding you, each one a different face of power. As you move slowly, clockwise, unhurried, breathing deeply and naturally. Seeing each form of the divine feminine and acknowledging each of their unique energies. And now imagine yourself moving toward the center, the bindu, the hub, the axle of the wheel, the place where the outer circle gives way to something more concentrated, more intimate. So you arrive at the Chandi Mandap, a cubic structure in the center, open to the sky like everything else here. And there she stands, Surya Putri, the daughter of the sun. See her clearly, four-armed, poised in a great, graceful, two-curved stance, standing steady on a horse caught mid-gallop, a crown that catches the light. In one hand she holds a bow, already drawn. Her other hand reaches back, calm, unhurried, to draw a second arrow from the quiver at her shoulder. She's not rushing. She is ready. Breathe with her stillness and motion. Notice nothing about her is frantic. Her power is focused, not scattered. And then silently, or in a whisper, offer her mantra. Om Ram Hrim Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. 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 Om Ram Reem Ram Sa Surya Putri Namaha. And return to your breath. And upon your gaze of the image of Surya Putri, and let each of her attributes settle into you at one time. With the horse beneath her, feel your own capacity for swiftness, not haste, but readiness to move the instant it is needed. The bow in her hand, feel your own scattered energies gather into a single point of focus. The arrow drawn from the quiver, feel your own readiness to meet whatever comes next without flinching. The crown on her head, feel your own quiet dignity, steady and unshaken. And breathe here for the next few full cycles. And let solar warmth, real or imagined, spread from your chest outwards. Spreading from your chest through your arms, as if you too were drawing something back, ready to release it with precision. Spreading into your head, your body, your legs, your feet. Feel the warmth, feel the light filling you and surrounding you. Om Ram Reem Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Ram Reem Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. Om Ram Reem Hraum Sa Surya Putri Namaha. So before you leave the Chandi Mandap at the center of the temple, silently ask for whatever it is you came seeking. Clarity, vitality, courage, focus. No need to explain it further. She's already seen it. And you slowly begin your walk back out along the circle, letting the 60 other forms blur softly past you. And carry something of her stillness and readiness with you now. And take a deep and clearing breath. Letting go of the meditation. And feel yourself returning to your personal space. Take another deep and clearing breath. Slowly moving your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, your arms and legs. Take another deep and clearing breath. Slowly bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And take a moment for acknowledging the Divine Mother in all of her forms, surrounding you and, more importantly, within you. And know she is always there, her power always there, and you can draw from it any time. And take a moment to give gratitude to yourself for taking part in the practice tonight, knowing you can replay the recording of our meditation anytime you have need. And you could also play it for somebody else who has that need. And slowly open your eyes. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me this evening. And Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. So I want to thank you for joining me this evening. As always, please take some time for some quiet contemplation for returning to the day or the evening's activities. I look forward to you joining me on Tuesday for our Puja and Satsang to Kali's Yantra, her geometric design. And as always, if you have questions or like to share something about the meditation, please feel free to email me at omcdevi@gmail.com, AUMCdevi, DEVI, @gmail.com. You can also message me at my channel. And I'd like to thank those of you who are joining live, and I'd also like to thank those of you who'll be watching the recording in the future. And Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful night. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma.